If you're trying to make 2025 your year, I recommend finding some new hobbies because I just started ice skating and I absolutely love it. I feel like I'm giving main character energy now and I actually have a plot going in my life. So in this video, I'm gonna go over my ice skating journey and let's go back to 2023, I think. Actually, no, let's rewind it all the way back to when I was a little girl. I was obsessed with that one Barbie movie. I think it's called Magic of the Pegasus. If you haven't watched it or you don't remember it, let me refresh your memory.
This is what comes from leaving the castle.
What do you want me to do? Sit in my room all day?
Yes!
You're ruining my life.
Looks like you took a wrong turn, Princess.
Really? I hadn't noticed. Any more helpful comments?
Nope, that about does it.
Oh, he's such a mule.
We're still shooting here.
Oh, I see.
I highly recommend Urta Caitlin. She makes Barbie movie edits and they're so funny. Her editing is so superior. I truly believe this is where my love for ice skating started because I remember so clearly that scene of her sneaking out to go ice skating and I was obsessed with this movie. I would rewatch it all the time and still to this day I recall scenes all the time from it. Aside from the Barbie movie though, I remember a few years back stumbling upon Ice Skate Talk and I was obsessed ever since then. I've been wanting to get into ice skating lessons. I just never had the push to actually sign up for classes until this year. My toxic trait is believing that I can do anything I see online. Every time I see something so majestic like ice skating, skiing, snowboarding, I'm like, I can totally do that. Meanwhile, I'm talentless here, so.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Of course, I'm quickly humbled. I don't know if this is just me, but every time a new year starts, I get this burst of confidence to just get out there and do anything I want. Like last year, I signed up for swimming lessons because my parents had never taught us how to swim. And as an adult, it felt weird not knowing how to swim. So of course, I went and took the lessons at the YMCA. And that was at the start of the year. And after that, I basically did nothing else. I just holed myself at home for the rest of the year. So in December, with 2025 on the rise, I was like, okay, I want to start something new, something fresh for the new year, and that was ice skating. I actually pushed signing up for the class for weeks because I was anxious, of course. I felt scared to start, not knowing who was gonna be there and if we would even have people sign up for the class or if it was just gonna be me, that would be weird. Yeah, I had a lot of thoughts going through my mind. I wanted to ask my friends, my family, and I did ask a few. Nobody was really interested until I asked my aunt and she was willing to do it, so we both signed up together. I think classes are 7 or 8 sessions. They're only 30-minute instruction time and 30-minute practice time, which I wish I knew before, but it's okay. It's already done. Let's start with week 1. We went in and rented skates. This was not the best day because I got skates that were a little bit too big for my feet, so I was struggling. We have 2 teachers. They were teaching us stretches, and then we broke up into 2 groups. One group is for people who haven't really skated before. The other group was for people who have skated before. I decided to go with group 2 just because I felt like I knew the basics. The first 10 minutes were fine. I could do it. I was able to skate, even though my skates weren't fit properly. But then by the end of it, she was teaching us swizzles. And guys, I had never done this movement before. I didn't realize that you have to actually move your legs. I don't know what I was thinking, but I didn't realize that. I was literally just standing on the ice and I was like, how are these people swizzling? Needless to say, I was gonna need more practice. And like I mentioned earlier, we have 30 minutes in this lesson to go practice. So that's what I did. By the end of this session, I still could not swizzle. So I was feeling defeated. After week 1, since I'd been struggling with the rental skates, my aunt and I actually went to Dick's Sporting Good and she found skates in her size, so she bought it. She was telling me like, you might as well just get your own as well. So I did. buy my own ice skates, which I wasn't planning to at all when I started these lessons, but I'm easily influenced, so I did it. I bought from Dick's Sporting Good. I just had them ship it to me. They were about $100, maybe $90. I will say I like them, but I don't think these are good skates if you're really trying to be serious about figure skating. If you're trying to go into figure skating, I'd recommend actually going to get yourself fitted for proper boots, but for now these are good for beginner hobbyists. Week 2, my brother had actually been begging me to take him to go skating, which was a good thing because that meant that I could go practice. So I chose an outdoor skating rink. This was where I was really trying to push myself to learn the swizzles because I was like, I did not want to be behind next week. What really helped me get the swizzles down was starting with momentum, pushing myself off just a regular skate, and then moving my legs so that I could feel the movement of how your legs are supposed to move. Once I kind of got the hang of that, I started in a standing position and just did the same motions. That way I could do it manually without an automatic push start. This session I was also practicing my balance on one leg, so I think I have some clips of that. I'll put them in if I do. Week 2 for the lesson, I went in with a lot of confidence, like, oh my gosh, I got this down. But of course, every week we're learning something a little bit new, right? My confidence definitely dropped after this session because we were learning to skate backwards, which is kind of crazy for the second session. But a lot of people in my class were already able to swizzle backwards, and I was like, I'm definitely not there. I had only just perfected swizzling forward. There's no way I was gonna learn how to swizzle backwards, let alone skate backwards. I had never skated backwards a day in my life. It is not that easy. Now I have the hang of it, but if you don't know how to do anything, obviously it's gonna be so much harder. So going into the next week, I went again on the ice to practice. This time I went to a lake and it's very scenic and beautiful. It's one of my favorite places to skate here. I don't feel like the ice is too rough, but I have heard people think that the ice is really rough. I was able to manage. I was practicing my swizzles, my balance. I was also practicing these little swoopy turn things that our teacher was teaching us. She was telling us that your arm kind of leads you into a turn. That was really hard for me when I was standing on my right leg and turning right, but when I was standing on my left leg and turning left, it was quite easy. I was getting a pretty good hang of that. Still to this day, I struggle with turning right, and I don't know why. My left foot just doesn't like to glide smooth. So after practicing swizzles forward, balance, and also those turns, at the end of the night, I was like, okay, I need to try backwards. We had been skating at this point for like 2 hours, and I was so scared that I pushed off the backwards skating to the last second until we were about to leave. I started off sliding my feet like this, not really wiggling, because wiggling, you're using your hips to give you momentum to move back. That's as far as I kind of got in this session. I was trying to make my husband push me while he was skating forward and I'm going backwards, and that didn't really help. So again, I was at a loss. Oh, and then here's my brother trying to show off, except he fell on the floor. That's what happens when you try to show off. So week 3, I actually got in 2 practice sessions. I went again to a different rink. This is where I really focused on the backward swizzles because it was the day before our lesson and I was like, I cannot show up and not know how to backward skate when everybody else can do it. That embarrassment really fired my motivation to go practice. The ice here, I will say, was pretty rough and I was struggling. It was really windy that day, really cold. So I didn't skate for long, but I skated enough to finally learn how to do the backward swizzles. And I think what really helped was the wind, honestly, because it was pushing me around back and forth, and at some point I was gliding backwards because of the wind. I kind of got the motion for that, and then I would just move my leg in and out. Thanks to the wind, I just kept practicing that motion and I finally got it down. It wasn't perfect, but I did feel confident in it, and I was like, yes, I can show people now tomorrow that I did this. During this session, I was also doing those turns again and also trying to teach myself how to stop because they hadn't taught us this yet. Let's just say I was not good at it. The only way I knew how to stop was just holding the wall or kind of like turning, and then I would stop because I'm turning. I love not having a large vocabulary, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm just saying the same words over and over again. Oh, also, what really helped me learn to skate backwards was watching TikToks. Biggest tip people were saying is bend your knees when you're going backwards. That really did help me. So now we've arrived at lesson 3, and of course I went in glowing with confidence. Guess what we're learning this lesson though? Crossovers. And if you don't know anything about ice skating, you probably will be like, well, what the heck does that mean? It looks easy, but it's not. You're basically raising your foot and going over your other foot while you're skating. We started off obviously in a circle. She was teaching us keep your legs straight, but then you're going to shift your upper body towards the inside of the circle. She just had us practice lifting our leg up while we were skating around the circle, keeping our stance properly. And this session, I was able to balance my leg, but I was not able to cross it because that is just way too hard. Even today, I struggle, and it's already week 6. Overall though, I was pretty happy with how the session ended since I was able to balance my leg really well, and my teacher praised me a little bit, so I was like, okay, I'm pretty good. It was actually negative 20 degrees all weekend long and even pushing until the middle of the week, so I did not really practice. But I did get to go out and practice one day of the week, I believe, a little bit later. At this point, I had been itching to go out there and skate, so I was really excited and happy when I did get to go. Again, this one was outdoors, and if you're wondering why I always practice outdoors, is because most rinks around in the cities here do not have a lot of open skate hours. At this point in week 4, my warm-ups are swizzles, backward swizzles, and just skating. Which is so crazy, right? Because obviously the weeks before, I didn't know how to skate backwards at all. This session, I was trying to do my crossovers. I kind of got it, but I feel like I can do it if I don't have my arms up. This practice session, I was really able to cross over my legs, but I was still struggling because coordinating your whole body into a certain position is really difficult. You have to make sure your body is facing the inside of the circle and your feet are facing straight. And then you have to think about, oh, I'm balancing on my left leg, and then I'm gonna lift my right leg over my left leg. So there's a lot to think about when you're ice skating, and just trying to learn how to coordinate all the movements and then rebalance yourself on depending on what leg you're landing on. Even the way I'm explaining it, you're probably like, what the heck is this girl talking about? Yeah, I don't know either. But yeah, you'll see in the clips I put here that I'm just practicing over and over, going around in a circle, lifting my leg up, balancing, crossing my legs. Of course, I'm doing all my swizzles, I'm doing the turns. I've kind of lost track of all my practice sessions, so I'm not going to mention them as much anymore. Maybe I'll add the clips, but I'll just talk in general about what we learned that week. So lesson 5, we learned how to stop finally, because me and this other girl in class were mentioning it, like, oh, I wish we knew how to stop, and then the teacher overheard us and she was like, yeah, we can learn that today. I had been trying to learn it through TikTok as well, and self-learning is much harder because you don't have somebody there to give you advice on whether you're doing it right or not. So even though I practiced scraping the ice, I practiced trying to learn how to stop, I wasn't quite getting there. During the session, the teacher drew a circle on the ice. It would look like a circle with 2 lines on the side, and she just had us practice scraping the ice and scraping the black parts away. Scraping the ice is easy, but then if you add that in with skating, it's hard. But eventually I did get to the point where I was able to do a pizza, at least when I stopped. I don't understand how people twist their hip. Like, you know how hockey players stop? They do that big, they stop and they twist their hips and like they're scraping the ice and the ice flies all the way up. I don't get how people do that. I think I would fall and break my head if I did that. And then week 6, I don't think we really learned anything new this session. We were just reviewing a lot of what we've already done: forward swizzles, backward swizzles, stopping. Oh, this session they were trying to teach us to skate backwards without the swizzles. We would just move one leg, so you have to kind of control the movement with your leg and your hip. That one is still hard for me because sometimes I oversteer and then I end up turning all the way around. I need to practice those more. We are now going into week 7 tomorrow, and I really need to get back on the ice and practice. Of course, at the start I had a lot of excitement, so every day I wanted to go out and practice, but now that we're nearing the end, which is so sad to say, I have lost a little bit motivation. I feel like I have no talents at all. I've tried so many things. My problem is that I get bored easily, and like if I'm not progressing the way I want, then I become demotivated and less interested in the sport because I'm not good at it. And so when I feel like I'm not good at it, I don't want to do it anymore. That's probably a really bad trait to have, and I wish I wasn't like that. So if you have tips on how to not be like that, let me know. So yeah, by week 6, I've learned how to swizzle forward, swizzle backwards, kind of skate backwards, kind of stop, kind of do crossovers, balance my legs for at least 5 seconds. That's all I can really think of. Sometimes I look at my progress and I'm like, that's literally nothing. That's the bad side of me. When it's a good day, I'm like, dude, you freaking learned so many new things. You were so different 6 weeks ago. You couldn't even skate backwards. I'm kind of in the middle right now where I'm proud of myself because I did progress progressed really far already with the limited practice times I had. But I'm also on the other side being kind of devil's advocate, like, girl, you could do better. You could be learning how to spin right now. Because when I'm on ice skate TikTok, people show their progress. Oh, I'm definitely not there. Like, they'll be spinning already by week 2. But everybody has their own pathway. The devil really is comparing yourself to others. So I need to stop doing that and just learning how to appreciate what you've done for yourself. I think that's what I'm really trying to learn this year is I can learn all of these stuff, but am I doing it for someone else? Or am I doing it for myself because I love myself and I want to learn new things and grow as a human being? I'm already looking for my next hobby to start learning. I think it's gonna be crocheting. I'm gonna make this a series because I'm really trying to find myself this year and trying to find new hobbies. Hopefully there will be some things that stick. Another thing that I really want to try are those polymer clay craft things. I've seen dongles, I've seen people recreate cups that are shaped like those jelly bee. Wait, what are those stuffed animals called? Jelly cats. I've seen people create cups with the jelly cat feet. I have lots of things in mind and on my list. So stay tuned for those. And of course, if you have any recommendations for new hobbies I should try, leave them down below. But this is gonna be the end of the video. Thank you so much if you watched all the way, and I will see y'all in another one.